We all know her as the vocal genius, artistic genius, being a workaholic, and being a master at the art of performance, MJ. But I never really hear people mention her ability as a marketing strategist and the brand that she has built that is
Beyonce.
So let's take a deep dive into the history of Beyonce as a solo act, and then we'll get into why and how she has become Beyonce, the brand and the marketing genius, along with her other very exceptional attributes. Salut, my name is Earthtone, and I'm just a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And welcome into a deep dive into Beyonce as the marketing genius. So in 2003, Beyonce debuted with her critically acclaimed album, Dangerously in Love, with the lead single, Crazy in Love, music video, literally asking us, are we ready? And the answer was, and still is, abso-fucking-lutely not, bro. Like, I can literally go on and on about this lady and her career, but we're gonna stay on track. I'm gonna try to stay on track, because we were definitely not prepared for what she had for her career. So from early on in her journey, she knew exactly her vision for what her career would look like years beyond.
Beyonce is now a brand on makeup, clothing, soft drinks. She's turning heads everywhere.
A legend in the making.
A legend?
Yeah.
That's big.
I said in the making.
And she knew that if she wanted to become the Beyonce that we all know and love, that she would have to think outside the limits of what they usually put Black women in these male-dominated spaces. And it's sad the world we live in, that us as Black artists and creatives and just existing in these spaces, that our voices don't always get heard the way it should be. But that's just the world we live in. So it's especially important for us as Black people who want to dominate in these spaces to just remember that we have to work twice as hard, 10 times as hard, to even get a glimpse of what it's like to be respected. And even as a child, Beyonce has always carried herself as a quiet, shy, laid-back individual off stage.
Beyonce was so shy growing up.
She'd walk into a room, and if there were kids there, she'd be the little kid that was just nervous. I go to pick her up, and she'd just be pushing a swing. I went and asked this little girl, and I was like, why don't you like Beyonce? And she said, I just don't like her.
But on stage was a whole nother beast, with these very intricate, wild, crazy concepts and performances, attempting to separate herself from other artists and being compared to anyone. But at the same time, building her personal brand. And people started to recognize this night and day difference on and off stage. So her being the genius she is, she knew marketing 101, and she knew that creating something separate from herself and building a world through her art was one of the best ways to create an era and a brand. And that's when Sasha Fierce was born.
Sasha is my alter ego.
And we've seen this same method to be successful as well with artists like Eminem with Slim Shady, Nicki Minaj with Roman Zelensky, and then Tyler the Creator with Sir Baudelaire and the blonde wig nigga. I don't know his name, actually. But anyway, and even I currently am doing this with Earthtone, the person you're watching right now. He's just a more confident, less anxious version of myself, and he's more developed in life, more advanced in life. And I feel like this method really helps creatives to, first of all, artists, we think differently than most people. We think like artists. So I feel like it's just a way for us to be creatively expressive by creating a person different from ourselves, to just help us get through uncomfortable or difficult situations that we couldn't really get through if we didn't have this brain. I don't know how to express that, but yeah. If any artist is watching this, I advise you to try this method as well. Just create a character different from yourself to really help you get through that awkward, less confident stage in your life. And this is a clearly tried and true method that has been proven to work, because we've clearly seen it with the artists I mentioned, Tyler the Creator, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, and Beyonce, with their very successful, huge careers. So just give it a try. But anyway, let's fast forward to her album 4. Okay, so March 29th, 2011, Beyonce had announced that she had fired her father, Matthew Knowles, as her manager, taking her career into her own hands, becoming her own manager. And in my opinion, this business decision was a great decision on her end, because this is around the time when Beyonce started to enter legendary status. Not to discredit Matthew in any way, but because he was responsible for Destiny's Child and all of her previous work before that. But this is when she became Beyonce the legend. And then she released 4, a timeless soul R&B album, and some fans might even argue it's her best work. Now, me personally, in my opinion, it's not her best work, but it's definitely in my top 3. But anyway, she made an artistic decision instead of a business decision with this project. And I talked about this in my last video, but when you go back to 2011 and hear all of the radio hits from that year, you realize 4 sounds nothing like of that time. And it truly solidified Beyonce's reputation as a true albums artist while simultaneously building her brand as Beyonce, the artistic genius. But no, just think about it. Like back in 2011, you had Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, and some more artists who were like really dominating the charts. And they were all making like heavily pop EDM music. But then you hear 4, it's a soul funk like R&B album. Sound like it could have came out in like the 80s or 90s or 70s or something. And that just like, it's just really just, it just solidifies like her greatness. And she really is, she's just her. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it just like for real solidified it. Like, she always knew she was going to be an artist first and then business second. All right, so the time is December 13th, 2013. And this rollout, in my opinion, is what truly solidified it for me that Beyonce is a once-in-a-lifetime marketing phenomenon. Like, truly a career-defining album. Like, I don't think y'all realize, like, the impact this album had on me when I was in my younger years, like, from the songs, the music videos, just the era, the presence, the aura, like, everything about this album and era was just amazing. Like, the nostalgia of it all is insane to me. A little side tangent, but anyway, let's get deep into why this project solidified her as the queen of PR and marketing, and why this era changed the way she functioned not only as an artist but as a human. So her previous album 4 had just leaked and it didn't perform the way it should have, and Beyonce knew she needed to do something different with this next project. So in order to achieve that, she made this project a visual album, releasing a music video to every single song. And she teamed with Jordan Asher Cruz, also known as Boots, a critically acclaimed producer who executive produced this entire project. And he's also closely worked with one of my personal favorite artists, FK Twigs. And y'all need to get into FK Twigs if y'all haven't already. Like, she is amazing. I love her. But anyway, he's just known for his very dark, unorthodox production. And he's literally responsible for all of the production on this album, even the songs he's not even credited on.
I worked on the entire album. You know, even the songs that I don't have credit on, I worked on. And it wasn't about that for me. It wasn't about the credit. It was about making a good album. And I made it clear. I said, this has to be great.
Giving Beyonce her most weird, experimental lyrical content and production at this time. And this album gave us songs like Drunken Love, Flawless, Partition, No Angel, one of the best songs ever, Haunted. And these are some of Beyonce's most sexiest, provocative songs in her career. She's never really done this before.
It's provocative.
No, it's not. It
gets the people going.
So, the reason this album confirmed her marketing genius for me is because the way it dropped. There was no single, no rollout, no promotion, no interviews, and ironically, no marketing. And that just made the marketing genius even more marketing genius of the marketing. And there was no hint to an album even dropping at all. And bam, here it was, exclusively on iTunes.
Beyonce.
And this album sold over 800,000 copies within only 3 days. And she literally changed the day that your favorite artist drops music from, which was once Tuesdays, and she changed it to Fridays. Beyonce the fucking GOAT. I think I'm gonna leave these in. And the Beehive, y'all might be a little mad when I say this, but I feel like Rihanna had a huge impact on Beyonce when it comes to this era and the way that she just switched like that. Because when you think about it, Beyonce was like America's sweetheart. She always had this clean, good girl image. But then you think about Rihanna on the other hand, she was the total opposite. She was this good girl gone bad. She didn't really give a fuck what people thought or said about her. She was just like a very carefree spirit. And people love that about Rihanna, and they still love that about Rihanna because that's what gave her that like it girl attraction that people just love. And I feel like Beyonce's seen that and feel like she needed to like kind of embrace her bad side and her bad girl energy so that she's looked at as a little bit more relatable, because she's not perfect. She's a human. We're all human. We know there's a side to her that she didn't like to show, but she showed it with this album, and therefore Beyonce was born.
Say all on his mouth like liquor.
And Beyonce knew if she wanted to stay relevant and control the narrative about her life and artistry and leave no room for comparison, she had to switch her public image and stop doing interviews. So there's no distraction from the art or the artist, and you only get to see her through her music. And in a very weird and ironic way, her not doing any marketing or promotion for this album was kind of all the marketing promotion it needed. She let the art speak for itself. And I feel like that's why she chose to make this a self-titled album, because she made it very clear, this is what you get, this is what you see. I'm here, I'm Beyonce, this is me to you guys. And just a little side note fan theory I have for this album. If you pay attention to the outro of Pretty Hurts and then the outro of the album, so Pretty Hurts and then Blue, you realize that her name was pronounced both times in the intro and outro of the album. So you have the pageant host saying Beyonce knows female pop vocalist. Then at the end of the album, you have her daughter Blue saying her name Beyonce instead of Beyonce. I feel like that was like, if you know Beyonce, you know she loves like symbolism and little Easter eggs in her art. So I feel like she left that in on purpose to really signify the theme of the album, which is imperfection and growing as a wife and artist and a mother. And I forgot to mention at the end of the song as well, you can also hear Blue calling her Beyonce, which is her artist name, Mrs. Carter, and then Mommy. So her solidifying what I just said about her being an artist, a mom, and a wife. So yeah, that's just a little side theory I have for this project, but yeah. And here we are, the scandal that gave us 3 albums. So we all know the infamous elevator clip.
Pass. Oh, hey, that's gonna leave a mark. That's from a movie.
The footage was out. There was no changing it, no taking it back. And even though there was no audio, we could just about figure out what the fight was about. And Beyonce, being the PR genius she is, she took the narrative back and she made lemonade out of her lemons. I ate that. Now, don't fight me or nothing. I love Beyonce, but as a fan, we come up with these theories. And I feel like, now I don't diminish the fact that Jay-Z cheated. I do think he cheated, but I feel like the elevator clip kind of fueled something in Beyonce, because she's very private, and I don't think we would have ever gotten this album if that footage had never came out. And I feel like she took this and she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna tell it all in this project. I'm making my most artistic, deep, well thought out, most intricate project ever, and then just take it from myself to the fans. Because if you think about it, again, not diminishing the fact that Jay-Z cheated, because I do think he cheated, but the elevator fight could have literally been about anything. And most people obviously speculated that Jay-Z cheated because the way Solange was going in, but the way Solange was going on that elevator, she's very protective of her sister. And why else? I just feel like why else would that fight have happened if he didn't cheat, But again, could have been about anything. And let's also point out the fact, while yes, Beyonce and Jay-Z are a married couple, they also have a business relationship. And they literally gave us 3 albums out of an elevator situation. And it was never confirmed that that situation was the situation that gave us those albums. But again, we could just about figure out that that's what it was about. We literally got Lemonade, and then we got Jay-Z's album of him apologizing. And then we got the Formation tour. And then we got On the Run 2 tour. And then we got Everything Is Love, an album of them reconciling. They literally gave us 3 albums and 2 tours out of a cheating scandal. And if you ask me, in my opinion, that's a great business move. I don't care what nobody say. And honestly, this might sound a little ridiculous coming out of my mouth, but I feel like her being cheated on kind of made her more relatable, because so many women can relate to being cheated on. Like, sadly, it's a story that a lot of women can relate to. So I feel like this was another reason why Lemonade was just such a perfect album and was a very great PR move on her end, even though it was very personal and kind of intrusive, but it worked. So with all that information throughout that whole video, you can't listen to what I just said and not think Beyonce is a fucking marketing genius. You just can't. It's like, you can't. She's done it, she's did it, and she's doing it, and we're all just extras in her show. And Beyonce, I know this your internet and all, so don't send your peoples after me, but again, I'm just a huge fan. This is all speculation and just fanfare and, you know, theories and everything. I don't know her. I'm not in her life. I don't know. But as a fan, I'm just passionate about this topic, and I just wanted to give y'all this video. And yeah, Beyonce is a genius. She's a marketing genius, artistic genius, vocal genius, all geniuses above. And while we're here, I just want to say, as artists and creatives, if you're creative out there watching this, it's very important. Branding is very important to anything in life. Like, if you want to sell a product, if you want to just not even, like, if you want to sell music, if you want to sell a product, anything, you want longevity behind it and you want people to take it serious, branding is the #1 thing that will lead you to that point. So hopefully you can take some information from this video, take some tips on how to become a bigger brand from the brand genius herself. And if I missed any details that you think would be important to this video, leave them in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with y'all. Any of the Beehive, if this finds y'all, I hope it finds y'all. Just like and subscribe. And yeah, my name is Earth Tone. Salute.